when we talked about what is the vision and national service, I think it does not begin or should not begin at the high school level. I think it needs to go to the primary school level.
Leveraging and launching our creative industries in the country.
That's gotten mixed reviews.
Well, I think what got mixed reviews is not the concept, but the labeling.
What we do today will affect those coming after us.
Good evening, Bahamas. Thanks for joining us at MB12. Coming up tonight in news, new taxes for several sectors outraging some in the business community. F&M Deputy Leader Loretta Butler-Turner blasts government over the Bimini superfast ferry, which has yet to leave port. A study reveals some teens are more likely than others to commit suicide, and the launch of a uniquely Bahamian watch just in time for independence. We have those stories and much more coming up tonight. I'm Christina McNeil, and your MB12 starts right now. Thanks for joining us. Many members of the private sector are outraged by the introduction of an environmental levy and aircraft and pilot tax. The new fees took effect on Monday, and that's when many business owners and stakeholders in the aviation industry say they found out. Government officials defended the new taxes, calling them modest and necessary. The Minister of State for Finance even suggested the new fees were laid out in the 2013-2014 budget communication for anyone to see. However, the opposition blasted the government today, saying businesses deserved more notice. Vonique Toot reports.
Members of the business community were reportedly caught off guard this week when they visited customs to clear imported goods, only to discover there were new fees. It's the result of the environmental levy, which took effect on Monday. Deputy Leader of the Free National Movement, Loretta Butler-Turner, called it a slap in the face, asserting government should have given the public more notice.
Because this is something that was not disseminated in Parliament, but is now just being disseminated very slowly to the business community. And what has happened, all of the submissions that would have been made in terms of customs clearance last Friday, which was before July the 1st, had been sent back to those business houses for them to resubmit so that they can fall in line with the new tariffs that the government has implemented. This, in effect, shows a lack of planning and a lack of accountability.
Butler-Turner says government officials may not call it a tax, but if you're paying a fee for things that were once duty-free, that's essentially what it is. So here's the breakdown. For every aircraft tire purchased, that's a $25 fee. It's the same amount for a new tractor tire and new truck tire exceeding 2 axles. Refrigerators brought in now come with a $15 fee. So do stoves and certain freezers. Then there's the new $20 fee on water heaters and certain generators. Meantime, the fee on phones, laptops, and personal computers is $5.
Even though the legislation is there for these things to happen, it has not been articulated, and it's a slap in the face to all Bahamians who are now importing goods. This is about 6 pages of fees, added fees.
That's not the only thing that has some pockets of the private sector peeved. Government also introduced a processing fee of $50 per private aircraft, which also took effect on July 1st. An aviation insider warned the Bahamas stands to lose anywhere from $16 to $20 million in revenue annually as a result. However, Minister of State for Finance Michael Halkita says he's not convinced that's true.
Would the introduction of a $50 fee cause someone to stop coming to the Bahamas and fly elsewhere, a few thousand miles away, because they don't feel like they want to spend $50 to defray the cost of us providing those services to them? I don't know. I need to be convinced of that. But I don't think so.
As for the environmental levy, he says government sought to address the tremendous problems with landfills and waste disposal in the country.
So on certain items coming into the country, refrigerators, appliances, automobiles, there's a small environmental levy that was implemented in this budget. We think it's reasonable. We think it helps the government defray its costs in these areas, and we think they'll be accepted. We said over and over during this budget that during these times when the government is stressed for revenue, we all have to bear a little bit more of the burden. And
Minister of State for Finance Michael Halkitis says while government did not personally inform business owners of the environmental levy and aircraft and pilot tax, it was foreshadowed in the 2013-2014 budget communication. He called the new fees modest.
it's right here in the budget communication. If you look behind at the budget communication, it says right here, number which everybody received a number. The press received a copy, and it's up on the website from the day it was presented by the Parliament of the Bahamas. Item number 15, introduce an environmental levy on specific items. Currently, no levy is charged, and various fees depending on the item to come into force July 1st. So it's right here. Nothing is being hidden.
Halkitis says if the private sector can convince government the environmental levy and aircraft and pilot tax are unreasonable, officials will review them. Reporting for NB12, I'm Voinik Toot.
The much-heralded Bimini superfast remains docked at the Port of Miami for yet another night and will stay there until it gets the all-clear from the United States Coast Guard. Chief of the Coast Guard's Inspection Division, Janet Espino-Young, told us yesterday she did not know when that would be, as the cruise ship failed a laundry list of safety tests and is currently waiting parts that had to be brought in. F&M Deputy Leader Loretta Butler-Turner called it an embarrassment for both the Christie administration and the Bahamas. She accused government of rushing to celebrate before ensuring that operators had everything in order.
And, it is sad that we were put in such an embarrassing state. And yet they went to Miami, had a celebration on this cruise ship in port, and then had to fly via plane onto Bimini for the opening of the resort. It just seems to be a very rushed project that was not well thought out in terms of planning. And it leaves a lot of embarrassment, not just for the government, but for the country as a whole.
Butler-Turner says she was not part of the Bahamian delegation which traveled to Florida, then Bimini, and she was not invited by the government. However, she says she bought her own plane ticket to attend the opening of the new Resorts World Casino on Bimini. Based on what she saw, Butler-Turner questioned whether it would really create 400 jobs for Bimini.
From my perspective as Shadow Minister for Labor, this resort on its opening, according to the Prime Minister's words, should have created 400 new jobs. I want to tell you that the breakout is very simple. There are only 28 Biminites hired at the casino. There are 75 transplanted Nasuvians hired at the casino, and there are 67 transplanted Grand Bahamians.
She says the F&M is now investigating claims foreign managers will be brought in. The Shadow Minister for Labor also expressed concern that the formation of a new transportation company will cut into the businesses of taxi, ferry, and golf cart operators on the island, a concern that has also been voiced by those operators. On Friday, Prime Minister Perry Christie announced the formation of the Bahamas Hotel Corporation Tourism Services Bimini by the Hotel Corporation to operate Resorts World Bimini Bay transportation and water sports activities.
We have many Biminites, entrepreneurs, who went out in that very short period of time and were able to determine as a group and individually that they would get financing from the banks on their own to be able to provide this ground transportation. And what we have happening now is that the entrepreneurial spirit of the Bahamian people, and the Biminites in particular, has been snatched away from them with the formation of this company, which is supposed to be in trust for Biminites.
Debate on the historic bill that will ultimately regulate controversial stem cell research and therapy in the Bahamas began in the House of Assembly this morning. In presenting the bill, Health Minister Dr. Perry Gomez said the Bahamas has an opportunity to become a world leader in that field by establishing strict regulatory standards and procedures for, among other things, transporting and storing stem cells. While Gomez says stem cell therapy is the medicine of now and government is eager to tap into it, officials are sensitive to concerns about using human embryos.
We are particularly sensitive to concerns about destroying human embryos in the process of deriving human embryonic stem cells. And for that reason, we propose to ban that practice.
Gomez says there are some who are particularly concerned about a procedure known as somatic cell nuclear transfer, which involves the removal of the nucleus of a human egg cell and fusing it with a mature cell, which would divide like an embryo. This is commonly known as cloning. But Gomez says the technique has many more uses, like creating organs, and for that reason they are proposing permitting use of this technique, but only under strict limitations.
That will prevent anything akin to attempting to clone a human, and that will ensure that nothing unethical or improper is done with the resulting cells. What are the oversight provisions that we will have? The proposed Stem Cell Research and Therapy Act and proposed regulations.
However, opposition leader and Killarney MP Dr. Hubert Minnis says he does not believe the Bahamas should be involved in stem cell research at this time.
We are plagued by many healthcare issues, an epidemic of chronic non-communicable diseases, public health issues, and a medical staff shortages, particularly in our family islands, especially in the far southern islands of the Bahamas. They in the south cry for help. And we are being severely challenged by other social, financial, and economic issues that all require the timely, focused attention of the government. Our people are crying for help. Social issues, economic issues. How so challenged a small government can expect to develop the necessary legislation and regulatory oversight for some of the most advanced medical scientific research taking place today? That boggles the mind, Mrs.